Hello my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. Blood pressure, elevated blood pressure. Since more people are doing protocol, almost daily I have messages, Darko, yeah, but how can I drink water with sea salt when my pressure is high? Well, the pressure is high. The main reason is because there is not enough salt in your body, not enough minerals. Now, how does that go? Whatever we are told in medical school, especially on important points, that if we avoid to take them, will make us sick, then we start fearing. And one of those things is salt. Not any salt, because on purpose, just to make people sick. We have a so-called table salt, or refined salt with iodine, iodized. This is toxic garbage. The only true salt is freshly harvested sea salt that is not in any way and shape touched. So no bleaching, no washing, no iodizing. A number of people I was helping who used sea salt, regular sea salt from the store. It was in Croatia, for example. Sea salt is widely being used, but bleached, processed, iodized. And they start having health problems when they drink a lot of plasma based on that kind of a salt. They start having stomach aches and didn't feel good. Of course, all this iodine, this is all garbage. People say, oh, it prevents gout. Doesn't prevent gout. People with gout take iodine, nothing happens, no change. We are all being lied to, okay? So, what is this thing with salt and high blood pressure? It's manufactured lies paraded as studies and as a science. It's all lie. Salt has absolutely no effect on blood pressure. Now, what raises the blood pressure? Faster beating heart. It has the accumulative effect. Like if you have a high tide and then you have wind coming from sea towards the shore, now the tide is going to be extra high because there's an amount of water that is just being pushed in with the tide. Now, same is happening with our body with blood pressure. I'm talking often about blood pressure and salt because constantly people are going back to me. Doesn't matter what I say, even when we have consultation, it all goes away because this fear of salt and connecting it with kidney problems and water retention and blood pressure, this is all manufactured garbage science told to us by the school. It's all based on lies. You go to the sea, you swim in the seawater, you're absorbing sea salt, huge amounts of it. You don't believe me? When you go out, when you urinate, when you go out of the water, when you urinate, try your urine, it's salty as hell. Because you absorbed a huge amount of sea salt and now your body is eliminating what it doesn't need and maybe some minerals like rhodium, iridium, like gold, silver, and others that you may be short of. Magnesium has tons of magnesium. That body will keep if it needs it. And the rest it will throw away. Same as when we mix a regular Celtic, not refined sea salt with water. We basically make diluted version of sea. And this raises our plasma quickly. So, what causes high blood pressure? You doing any kind of work, even talking, Heart is like the engine. Okay, and what do you do with a car? You first push the gas pedal. You need to accelerate the engine before you let the clutch go, before you want the car to move. Same is with our body, with the heart. And as soon as heart increases the speed of its beating, the pressure goes up. So when you do something, pressure goes up. Thinking is doing a lot because brain uses a lot of energy. So the heart is going to pump. You are afraid of what doctor is going to say. Boom, your heart starts beeping rapidly. Pressure goes up. Now, this is high blood pressure related to our emotions, which especially in this stressful environment of ours, this is very common for people to have. Don't take pills for this. Your heart has instruction in what speed to function, and it gets the feedback from the cells. They know what they need and how fast the heart rate should be. Don't interfere with that stuff. We interfere, and this is why we create problems. What else can cause increase of pressure? That will actually stay. So even the systolic pressure is going to be higher. Inflammation. Remember, inflammation of organ, for example, or tissue, is basically caused by vasopressin squeezing on a blood vessel. So if it squeezes on an artery, there will be backup pressure from the heart to the inflamed area. It's going to start increasing, and under higher pressure, now the blood is squirted into this affected tissue. So if you have more inflammation on right side, your blood pressure on the right hand is going to be higher than the blood pressure on the left hand. This is why whenever you have elevated blood pressure, measure on both hands, just to make sure that, wow, maybe you have something going on this side where blood pressure is elevated. Now, you don't want to decrease the blood pressure. Blood pressure is never a problem. Nobody died from high blood pressure. The only thing that happens if it is prolonged, if you live with this elevated high blood pressure, your heart, it means it's pumping harder. So you're going to have enlarged heart. This is also not a problem. Nobody dies from enlarged heart. Every sport person, every sport woman or man is going to have that does demanding sports like bicycling, like triathlon, or even running, bodybuilding, everything that requires that blood circulates rapidly, because there has to be exchange of energy, exchange of oxygen, exchange of carbon dioxide, cooling down the body. Well, the heart rate has to accelerate, and this is going to increase your blood pressure. And now if you have just inflammation, kidney inflames, well, there is a big artery feeding kidney. Now its backup pressure is going to start building up. We say, oh, well, we have a problem with kidney because then kidney inflames and high blood pressure does problem to the heart. It's not true. High blood pressure doesn't create any problems. It is resolving problems. They are created by a problem in a body. So this is why you have high blood pressure. Instead of normalizing it, working against your body, you have to check, why is there high blood pressure? Are you stressed? Are you inflamed? Is it something going on? Now, there is another reason for higher blood pressure, and this is when arteries lose elasticity, because normally arteries are flexible, and as heart pumps, when systole happens, systolic pressure, the arteries expand from the pressure. So the pressure has a certain parameters where it stays. It increases, let's say, from 70 to 120. Bingo. If it increases more, well, one of the reasons could be that the artery is becoming rigid, so it doesn't expand enough. If it doesn't expand, pressure inside increases. Now, this is always the case in people who are severely dehydrated, especially on a cellular level, because arteries are made out of cells. Why would they dehydrate? Because blood is toxic, so they don't hydrate. And if you leave them dehydrated, the more they dehydrate, because they still have to cleanse themselves, they become acidic, and they basically become rigid, because they will request more cholesterol so they can reinforce the membranes, so they can better hold on this water that they still have. So normally your cholesterol is going to be high, but the cholesterol again doesn't make the obstructions. There's never going to be obstruction of any blood vessel, any coronary artery, unless there was a rupture. But this is again going a step higher. But just from dehydration happens very often to long-term vegans, vegetarians turning vegans. What happens once when they start actually hydrating on a cellular level? Well, even before, when they start drinking enough plasma and they start actually hydrating on the blood, very often they swell. The face, the eyelids, the whole body may swell because everything is rigid. They are dry like a prune because they never cleanse. They are very acidic on a cellular level. Blood, the saliva may not be. Blood is always alkaline, but urine may not be. But on a cellular level, they are going to be very dry and acidic. And dry acidic cell becomes more rigid. And now the tissue that it forms, like blood vessel for example, becomes rigid. This is what causes creases in the skin. It's not lack of collagen. This is all another baloney lying stories from those who sell supplements. Eating collagen will help you absolutely nothing. This much will help you, eating collagen. Collagen is a protein, but let's not mix now. We are being led with lies. So, when vegan may have okay blood pressure, normal blood pressure. Why? Even when the arteries are rigid, normal blood pressure, because the pipes are half empty. There is not enough plasma, not enough blood. How do we know there's not enough? Because blood is toxic. They don't cleanse. They don't have cleansing symptoms. They don't have flu. Oh, I'm very healthy. I didn't have any flu for 10 years. My immune system is great. Your immune system has nothing to do with flu. Immunity is a completely different story than what we are being told. Okay, macrophage is a garbage collector. It's not your immune system. And when you are dehydrated, when your vessels do not have enough blood, of course, very hard to raise blood pressure, even when they are rigid. But now you start hydrating, you start taking plasma, let's say you go on Self-Healers protocol, you start hydrating, oh, pressure goes up, oh, it's salt. It's not salt, it's water. You are finally raising a little bit the level of plasma. And as soon as you start raising a plasma, well, water without salt you are not going to hold. So you're going to just urinate it and sweat it out. Only way to raise level of plasma is to drink plasma. Water with all the minerals, sea salt. And as you start raising the plasma, so now your rigid arteries are getting more blood. So it's like a hose that starts filling up, and it starts getting harder. And now when heart is pumping, now it's increasing this pressure, artery cannot properly extend, and you have high blood pressure. But without having now this high blood pressure, you cannot heal yourself, because you need this level of plasma to get your cleansing mechanism starting. The cleansing mechanism 1, 2, and 3. Every time when I had vegans on protocol, they go to third level cleanse. Okay, they cleanse even through the skin. And constipation, they always the same story. Darko, I never drank so much water. I'm drinking 5 liters of plasma a day and I'm constipated. And before I was drinking 1.5 liter, I never had been constipated. Because you were never cleansing. Now your cells start hydrating on a cellular level and cleansing. So it's shooting out the garbage. So do not be afraid of elevated blood pressure. They say, oh, it's gonna give you stroke. Artery will break. Artery will break only when it is brittle. Now, if you are long-term dehydrated on a cellular level, remember, I told you it's all about electricity, electroconductivity, and electromagnetic fields. So if your cells cannot hold the charge, their magnetic field is weak. And that means that whatever is in the blood can touch them, because particles in the blood also will not be properly magnetized. They don't have voltage. So their field is weak and they can actually touch the artery. Now, if you are eating incorrectly, again, vegans, vegetarians with their carbohydrates, now you don't have buffer to sediment minerals in your bones, so you get osteoporosis, osteopenia. But the worst what is happening, whenever bone tries to repair one area, it first has to demineralize it, put a collagen fiber in, and then resediment minerals. Calcium, but it's not only calcium, there's a huge amount of salts, minerals that we normally take from sea salt. But to do this, it needs alkalinity. So now you can see how everything is connected. And this is why I talk about one thing and all of a sudden I'm lost in the vastness of lies that we are living with medicine. And this is why nobody gets healed. So if you really want to heal, contact me. Yeah, my protocol is easy. At 22 bucks or whatever donations you do, you can have protocol, but what is going to happen? You have to do everything contrary to anything that you know that is healthy. So fear sets in. And every symptom that comes, and they are all symptoms of toxic blood and detox, which are symptoms of flu. So what happens? People get scared. And then if blood pressure rises, or if there is inflammation, or water retention, salt, yeah, I know it, salt cannot be used. You know nothing, because everything you know, everything we have been told is all full of lies. And whomever I lead, I always request, send me daily report at least first 10 days. So I know I weed out the mistakes that are being done. And then every symptom that you have, let me know. What happens? I don't hear nothing for 5-6 days. And then all of a sudden, I have been constipated last 3 days. Why are you waiting? Well, human stupidity does not have any measure. We just don't think, or we think, oh, I don't want to bother him, I don't know, maybe it's going to get better. It's not going to get better unless you change what you are doing. And drinking 5 liters and you are still constipated, so drink 6, drink 7, drink 8. You cannot be constipated, and fiber, plant fiber, does not help you not to be constipated. Those are, again, stupidities that you are being told. It's always lack of plasma, not water. If you just put water, body absorbs it and throws it out because it cannot use it unless it can bond it with ionic action, so it maintains the electroconductivity on a high level. We are electronic robots. We need good flow of electricity, perfect electroconductivity. Without it, it's not going to work. And body is put together in such a way that it has many checks, many check valves, many sensors, and always reacts in the same predictable manner. Once when we know it, then we know right away, top, this is problem, do this. Top, this is problem, do this. It's never what we are told in the school, so forget about it. If anybody is a student of medicine right now, get out of there. There is nothing good that you can learn there. Wait until shift comes so that real medicine comes out, truth comes out. Okay, so don't be afraid. High blood pressure never killed anybody. They say, oh, you're going to have a stroke, cerebral stroke, artery will break, and then you are in trouble. This is why you take, you water down your blood a little bit with aspirin, or we have now all array of medications which has nothing to do about diluting the blood. They are all just anticoagulants. And then you are getting in a stroke, because what happens is arteries break often, but it quickly stops bleeding because you have coagulation going on. But if you now tamper with anticoagulant, now when artery breaks in your brain, your blood cannot coagulate properly, and it makes tamponade. It keeps leaking blood, and creates pressure. And it can kill you, gives you a stroke. It's against opposite of what they are telling us in the school. Oh yeah, you are 60, take one aspirin, baby aspirin every day. The baby aspirin will prevent you from hydrating on a cellular level. In no way and shape it can help you with your health. It only speeds up its deterioration. We have to live poison-free, no medication. Zero. If you want to heal, zero medication. If you're medicated, you want to get out of there, give me a call. We'll get you out of there. And then you can heal. So don't be afraid of elevated blood pressure. Don't be afraid if little inflammation comes in or water retention during the beginning of the protocol, because if that happens, your circulation is shot. So we may have to readjust a little bit the amounts, but you gotta get going, because you now have to cleanse everything before it can start getting better and heal. I hope I'm making myself clear, and I know tons of you out there who listen to this, you will start, and as soon as the symptom happens, oh no, it's not for me, it's a salt. Always is the salt, or it is cholesterol. Okay, it's never veggie. No, veggies are good. Veggies kill you, not right away. They take their time, but more and more I am getting people who have been long-term vegans, but some of them are just, can I do protocols in some kind of way that I can eat vegetables? What can I tell you? Okay? Can I not get poison if I eat poison? What can I tell you? Okay. Love you all. Start thinking.